Okay, today's module 4, lesson 6 on order of operations. We are going to go fairly quickly for two reasons. One, we have a lot of practice in this lesson, and it is a review. You've done this in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, so this should be a nice review. So in the example, 3 plus 4 times 2, you already worked on that one, and we had answers of 11, 14, and 128. We can't have 3 different answers for one math equation. There has to be rules. And the rules are the order. You all know what order means, like the sequence, the order that we do things. And then what are our 4 operations? Our 4 operations are, exactly, so please stop, ladies. So there has to be an order that we solve these different operations when there's more than one operation in an equation. So let's look at these rules so that everybody arrives at the same answer. Now, we were talking about repeated addition and repeated subtraction. So when we were adding on, that was addition. When you're counting back, that's subtraction. When you were young, you learned addition and subtraction first because those were the easiest operations. They were the least complicated. Then we learned multiplication and division because multiplication is repeated addition. You needed the addition to do the multiplication. And then division, and division is repeated subtraction. So you needed the addition and the subtraction to do the multiplication and division. Come on, computer. Okay. So because multiplication and division are more powerful than addition and subtraction, that's what led mathematicians to come up with that order of operations. So when we evaluate expressions that have any of these 4 operations, we always calculate multiplication and division before doing any addition and subtraction. So that's why we got different answers. I bet some of you just went left to right. 3 plus 4 is 7 times 2 and got 14. But that's not correct. The order of operations that we just discussed said that because multiplication was more powerful, we do the multiplication first. So the correct answer was 11. So here, this is a model of that first equation. We have 3, and then we are adding on 4 groups of 2. 4 groups of 2. So order does matter. You can't just start at the left and go right. So if we're looking at only addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, what do we do first?
I was just going to say, so basically we're going from right to left.
No, not always. We're always going to do, no matter where it shows up in the equation, we're always going to multiply and divide first. However, suppose there's both multiplication and division. How do we know which to do first out of multiplication or division if they're both in the equation? We have to go from, right. After we did all the multiplication symbols, after we did all of the division symbols in order from left to right, then we can go ahead and last we solve the addition and subtraction. But if there's more than one addition and subtraction, we go in order from left to right. Okay? So there are 3 examples. Go ahead and solve those. But please make sure you only do one operation per line. You have to show your work one step at a time. Yes?
What about like the parentheses?
Right now it says for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So we want to show these one step at a time. So first we do multiplication, so we bring the rest of the equation down. So 2 times 7 is 14. All the multiplication's done, all the division is done, so now I can add from left to right. And there was only one anyway. Please make sure your paper looks like the board. You cannot do two operations in one step. We have multiplication and division in example 2. But the rules say whichever comes first from left to right. So 36 divided by 3 is 12. Bring down the times 4. 12 times 4 is 48. If you want full credit on your homework, you have to make sure that you're showing each step only one operation at a time. Do I subtract or multiply first? Multiply first. So 20 minus 10. 20 minus 10 is 10. Yeah, sound familiar? Absolutely. So let's keep going. All right, so that's your 4 basic operations. But yesterday we learned about exponents. What do we do if we have exponents? Where does that fall in the order? Well, exponents are repeated multiplication. So repeated multiplication is more powerful than multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So if your equation has exponents in it, we always solve the exponents first. Because let's look at this. We would multiply first. So 4 plus 36 divided by 8. Then we divide. And then we add. Isn't 6 times 6 the same thing as 6 squared? So we get 4 plus 36 divided by 8, and then the rest would be the same. So in this example, in this example, what would we do first?
The exponent.
Very good. Then what do we do next? What operations go next? And multiplication. Left to right. What are always last? Yeah. So now let's find our final answer. We have 4 plus 9 squared divided by 3 times 2 minus 2. You may have to write this on the side so that you have room.
On the last slide, you said that the 6 times 6 is 36. Isn't 8 times 4 32?
I will go back and check that in a minute. So first, I did my exponent and got that. Everything else was brought down. Okay? So next, I have to do my division. So everything else just gets brought down, and I just do my division. So what's 81 divided by 3? Shoot. Next, I have to multiply. So everything else gets brought down. 27 times 2 is? Now what do I do first? Add or subtract? Yes. I do whichever comes first, left to right. So which comes first when I go to the left? Addition. So 4 plus 54 is 58. Bring down the minus 2. And the answer is 56. Okay? You can try 4 and 5 on your own. All right, let's go over these. First, we're going to solve the exponents. 90 minus 25 times 3. Remember that that is 5 times 5. That is not 5 times 2. That has completely different meaning. One is repeated addition. One is repeated multiplication. Then we have 90 minus 75. And then 15 is your answer. 4 cubed is 4 times 4 times 4. So what is 4 times 4 times 4?
64.
So we have 64, and then bring everything else down. Then I multiply, and then I can add and get my sum of 80. Questions on either one of those? So we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponents. Let's go crazy and add something else in there. Well, suppose we see some parentheses. Sometimes we have to change the order. So parentheses gives us a little freedom if we have to change the order. So for example, we have this family of 4 that goes to a soccer game. Tickets are $5 each. So here's my model that shows a $5 ticket. So I have 4 groups of $5. But then Mom bought a soda. The soda was $2. So we have 4 groups of $5. 4 groups of $5 plus the $2 soda. So that's the equation that you should be writing in your notes. So how much did this outing cost? $22. Okay? But suppose the kids are like, Ma, that's not fair. You got a soda. I want one. You know, because you kids always like want stuff. Right? So suppose they had to buy a $5 ticket and a $2 soda for each kid. Wouldn't I have to add them together first? My $5 ticket plus my $2 soda, and then multiply it by 4 to find out how much it's going to cost? So this time I have to do addition first. So even though that goes against the order, this is where parentheses are going to help us out. So our equation would be $5 ticket plus a $2 soda. So once you have that part written down, then we multiply it by the 4 people. So it's 4 people times the $5 ticket plus the $2 soda. They absolutely do. So I technically do not need that X because parentheses does mean multiplication. I know I told you that earlier in the year when we were doing the distributive property and we were pulling out for GCF. So parentheses does mean to multiply. So that's what we're doing. We're taking our 4 and multiplying it. Because why do we add the $5 first? Because it was $5 for a ticket plus the $2 soda for, for each of the 4 people. So how much does that outing cost? If it's $5 plus 2, God bless you, now it's $7 per person. So if it's $7 per person times the 4 people, how much does it cost? $28. So we have 4 groups, and each group costs 5 plus $2 or $7. Okay? So parentheses allows us to break those order of operation rules when we need to. So parentheses are now the most powerful in the order of operations. So whatever is inside the parentheses is what you're going to do first. And order of operations will apply inside the parentheses, and then once you get rid of the parentheses, then you kind of start from scratch with the order of operations. So let's do this one together. I bring down the 2 because I'm going to focus on my parentheses. But now inside my parentheses I have an exponent and subtraction. So what am I going to do first? My exponent or my subtraction? That's right, we exponent first. So 9 squared is 9 times 9, which is 81. And then we bring down the minus 4. 2 plus 81 minus 4 is 77. So I could drop my parentheses now because I'm done with everything. So 2 plus 77 is 79. Holy Toledo, number 7. We have 2 sets of parentheses. So we're going to do the parentheses inside the parentheses first, because order of operations rule. So 2 times 13 plus 5 minus 14 divided by, so what's 3 plus 4? 7. So now I could just bring that down and close my parentheses, because I just did those parentheses. Now inside these parentheses, I have addition, subtraction, and division. What should I do first? What's the most powerful? What do we say comes first? Right, we would do multiplication or division first. I don't have multiplication, so we do the division first. So 13, I don't know what's wrong with my smartboard in this area. It bobbles every time. Minus 14 divided by 7 is 2. Now what do I do first? My addition or my subtraction?
Addition, but you're still
You answer my next question before I could even ask it. We add first because that's what comes first from left to right. So 18 minus 2. Now I'm still in my parentheses, so 18 minus 2 is 16. Now this brings up what Shoop just said. Here they use the multiplication symbol. I could have kept bringing down the multiplication symbol, but I didn't have to because parentheses means multiplication. So here I kept the parentheses so that I knew I had to multiply it by the 2, which is 32. And that's your answer. Okay, you ready to go crazy? Check this out. We could totally solve this one. We know how to do this one. We just did it. So go ahead and solve it. What do we do first inside the parentheses? The exponent. Okay, so we have 2 times 3 plus 16. 2 times 19 and 38. So first, inside the parentheses, we do the exponents. Okay, any questions on that? But now look at the next example. This time the exponent is not with the 4. The exponent is now outside the parentheses. So first I still have to do what is inside the parentheses. So 2, so will my answer be the same? No. So what am I going to do first this time? Add, because that's what's inside the parentheses. So 2 times 7 squared. You can or cannot write the parentheses. You don't have to, because we're done with the parentheses. You could drop them. So now I'm going to square it, because now I have 2 times 7 squared. So what's 7 squared? What's 7 squared? 49. So 2 times 49. And what is 2 times 49?
98.
Very good. So that's your final answer. So it makes a difference if the exponent is inside the parentheses or outside the parentheses? Here, it was inside, squaring only the 4. Here, it's outside, squaring the sum of two numbers. Okay, so do you see why order is important? Because it could totally change our answer. So go ahead and try 8 and 9. They look very similar, but they're different. Okay, let's go over these. So 7 plus 12 minus what's 3 squared? 9. 7 plus, what's 12 minus 9? 3. And 10. Now 9 looks very similar. The exponent is just in a slightly different spot. So let's see if that matters. So first we have to do the parentheses. 12 minus 3 is 9. 7 plus 9 squared is 81. So now the answer is 88. Very different answers just based on whether or not that exponent is in the parentheses or outside of the parentheses. Okay, so in closing, a numerical expression is a number or its combination of sums, differences, products, divisors of numbers that evaluates to a number. Okay, so it's very important that you follow the order of operations so that we all get the same orders. Remember, you do the parentheses and the exponents, then multiply or divide from left to right, and then add or subtract from left to right. Please make sure on your homework that you are showing all of your steps. If you struggle with this, extra help is on Monday because your quiz is on Thursday. And don't forget, your Castle Learning cumulative review number 5 is due on Monday. You need to hand in your loose leaf that shows all of your work for every single step.